This portion of Lifestyles is sponsored by Gary Price, elder law attorney.
And here he is, our elder law expert. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about Medicaid planning. And I've learned from you, Gary, and because I wouldn't have thought about it before, how important it is to get started, to begin to even think about it. And do you think part of the resistance to it is we just kind of don't want to admit we're getting in that zone?
Well, it's not a pleasant subject.
No.
And it's kind of in that same category with estate planning. They're not things you want to think about necessarily, and more times than not, things you don't want to think about, you put off.
And we do. I mean, it is a natural thing. So once we've decided to not put it off any longer, what are some of the things we need to do to make sure we get this right?
Well, I was kind of thinking about that, and I was thinking about what's a common answer, because we've talked about when you call up about Medicaid, you may be calling up, there's no, there's nothing urgent about it. You're just planning.
Yeah, right.
On the other hand, it could be a crisis situation where a family member is going into a long-term care facility. There's two things we always talk about, or there are two things I try to achieve, rather. The first one we've talked about a bunch. I want to get past that power of attorney question. Is there a power of attorney? If there is, who is that agent? If there's not, can we get a power of attorney? And if we can't get a power of attorney, then we start talking about, okay, then we're going to have to go through the guardianship process. And of course, that's in a crisis situation, but power of attorney, that's the first thing. The second thing I always try to achieve is knowledge, is to give the person, you know, there may not be anything you need to do right now, but I think you need to have the knowledge to know that, so that you don't think about it sometime and start wondering, okay, what should I be doing? And then when you start doing that, it's natural you think the worst.
Of course.
And so let's get and when we talk about knowledge, I'm talking about, well, we could be talking about what's the Medicaid process, what does Medicaid cover, what does it not cover. But more times than not, I spend more time on that subject talking about overcoming the misconceptions that they have, getting those misconceptions out of your mind for good. And it's often a challenge to do that. After I tell you that that's a misconception, it's wrong, you come back to me with the same question. It's embedded in there, but to get the knowledge to overcome, or to, like I said, get those misconceptions out of your mind, because those misconceptions will keep you up at night.
Well, and it's so true. We have talked about, and we've named some of those, but I think that's one of the advantages of getting your book ahead of time before you come into that planning, because it's really accessible. Because Medicaid, of course, is confusing if you try to go read about it, but this is a very clear conversation about how this goes and what it means, and defining the terms and all that stuff.
Tried to write it that way. We address the major misconceptions. And so if you're talking about knowledge, the book is a good way, a first good step to get it. And then when you get the book, there's a coupon inside that says free consultation. And so we'll meet, we'll talk about your particular misconceptions and overcome those and your particular situation and plan accordingly.
Give us the phone number, Gary, so we can call and get the book.
Get the book, no charge, 812-475-8444. We'll send it to you.
Get your book now and clear out the confusion. Thank you, Dare.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be back with more right after this. Stay with us.
This portion of Lifestyles is sponsored by Gary Price, elder law attorney.